Alright, we just finished the vocabulary for the Unit 9 test review. Let's move on to the bottom of page 1. Sorry, let me get this over here. Alright. Bottom of page 1, question number 17. What is the length of segment DC? Well, you can see, class, that DB is a radius, and that's 3 meters. And DC is also a radius. So the radius has to be congruent all the way around the circle if it's a circle, and that means the length of DC is 3 meters. Now, the instructions said round to 1 decimal and circle your final answer and write a unit of measure on every answer. So there's our first one, 3 meters. What is the diameter of circle D? Well, if we know the radius is 3 meters, then we know the diameter is going to be 2 times 3. So the diameter is going to be 6 meters. Question number 19. What is the radius of circle S? Well, because this measurement is sitting right next to the center of the circle, we know that is a diameter. If you know the diameter, you can find the radius by dividing by 2. So the radius must be 17 millimeters. Last question in this column, number 20. What is the measure of arc AC? Well, I can see that this arc AC is intercepted by this central angle ABC. And if we know the measure of the central angle, which is 86 degrees, then we know the measure of arc AC must also be 6 degrees. Sorry, 6 degrees. If the measure of ABC is 86 degrees, then the measure of arc AC is also 86 degrees. Question number 21. What is the measure of angle WXY? So we're looking at this angle measure right here. Well, we see that's an inscribed angle because the vertex is on the circle. We know the intercepted arc of that inscribed angle is 26 degrees. So we can find the angle measure by dividing that intercepted arc measure by 2. So 26 divided by 2. The measure of angle WXY is 13 degrees. Number 22, well, what is the measure of arc YX? Well, you can see here, class, I've talked this before, you need to recognize diameters. This WX is a diameter. That means it cuts out a semicircle. We know that arc XYW is a semicircle. So we can figure out arc YX by subtracting the known intercepted arc, 26, from 180. So 180 degrees is a semicircle minus 26 degrees, and that is equal to 154 degrees. The pizza to the left has been cut with 3 diameters. The biggest thing you want to recognize, class, is two things about that. One, there's a whole bunch of semicircles here, and number 2, these are all vertical angles. So that way, if you know one angle, if you know this is 33, you know this is 33. What is the measure of arc AB? Well, first of all, let's note that this right here is a diameter, and that means all these arcs are going to add up to 180, which means all these angles are going to add up to 180. So I can find the measure of this angle right here by subtracting the 2 known angles from 180. So 180 minus 84 minus 33 is equal to 63. So that means this angle is 63 degrees, which means this is a vertical angle because those are diameter. That's 63 degrees. And since that's a central angle, then arc AB also has to be 63 degrees. So I can basically just circle my answer right here, and it's done. Alright, number 24. If the measure of angle WST is 2x minus 4 degrees and the measure of arc SVW is 3x plus 2 degrees, then what is the value of x? Now, these can be actually complicated problems. We haven't really practiced this, but you want to go back and first recognize what are your properties. And the properties of this angle, this is actually an inscribed angle. That means the arc is twice as long, as the measure of the arc is twice as big as the measure of the inscribed angle. So that means that if I put it in an equation, I could say 2 times the measure of angle WST is equal to the measure of arc SVW. This is our property. If SVW were 20, then the measure of angle WST would be 10. 2 times 10 is 20. If the measure of SVW were 50, then the measure of angle WST would be 25. 2 times 25 is 50. So knowing that, we can actually write our equation. Therefore, we know this equation is true. 2 times 2x minus 4 must equal 3x plus 2. All we have to do is solve this equation, and we will find our value of x. Let's distribute. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. We can get rid of the parentheses over here because there's nothing on the outside. And now let's go ahead and use our Algebra 1 skills. We're going to subtract 3x from both sides. And we're going to end up with 4x minus 3x is just x. So x minus 8, these cancel, equals 2. Now we're going to go ahead and add 8 to both sides. And our final answer is going to be x equals 10. Now, if you want to really verify your answer, you can check this out. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 minus 4 is 16. So the measure of angle WST is 16 degrees. And then 3 times 10 is 30. Plus 2 is 32. And the measure of arc SVW is 32 degrees, and that matches our properties. The measure of the inscribed angle is half the measure of the intercepted arc. So x is definitely 10 degrees. Sorry, x is definitely 10.